I've been in the US for 6 months now, and I'm on a little flight home at JFK, if everyone can see. I wanted to do a little video on the exact cost of what it takes to move from the UK to the US. Basically, it's not cheap, so I'm going to run through a couple of things that will probably affect your cost, and you can probably run down from your personal situation, and you can probably calculate what it might be. So first of all, the first thing you need to do is if you're moving by yourself or if you're moving with your family. So obviously, if you have to calculate for your wife or your husband and then your children, that gets a lot more expensive, so just factor that in. Obviously it's cheaper to be single, and it's a little bit easier because you don't have to accommodate for 2 people or 3 or 4 or whatever, how many kids you've got. So first thing, flights. That's an obvious one. Go on Skyscanner, you know what flights cost. Second thing, visas. So mentioned this before on my other videos, it's easier to get a job when you're already in the UK and then applying for a visa in the US Embassy in London. My visa cost, I think it was $104, and that was paid back in the UK. So it's not a massive amount of money, but what you might want to do to support your argument is you can always hire like a lawyer to put the visa papers together. That gets expensive, so obviously lawyers are on a hourly rate, so I would probably say you'd probably have to factor in another £7,000 to £1,000 if you wanted to get that done. There are ways to do it. There are some guidance on the US Embassy website, so probably look for that if you wanted to do it. And also, some people's work pay for it, so that might be an option for quite a few people. Second thing, shipping costs. So what are you bringing over? So I think most people are allowed to bring a maximum of 6 bags on the plane with them. Obviously, an extra £40 or whatever per bag, whichever airline you're with. But if you actually want to ship, then, for example, I shipped over a bed, a chest, probably about 8 boxes, and that came to £1,200. So you can get quotes. There's loads of shipping dealers that can help you. I would just recommend, so just factor it in. If you're bringing furniture across, it's expensive. Another thing you need to do is just factor in like taxes there and back, because you will have 6 bags with you. For example, I got dropped off at the airport, so that was fine in the UK, but then when I got to the States, like it was just like an extra $70. Just factor it in, especially if you've got a lot of stuff with you. Next point of call is temporary accommodation when you get here. If you haven't got any friends to stay with, that probably gets expensive. I mean, obviously Airbnb is good, and booking in advance makes you get a better deal, or at least a better Airbnb for the money that you've got. Factor it in, because you probably want to be temporary accommodation for at least a month, if not more. And if you're in an expensive city, then obviously the prices can ramp up. So I think my Airbnb worked out to about $85 a night for Manhattan, which is cheap. So that was in a shared accommodation. I wasn't living on my own. Which is expensive. And I know that a friend at work, her and her husband moved over, and they had to get a studio flat basically for a month. So it doesn't get cheap. And with being in temporary accommodation, sometimes the cooking facilities aren't as good, so you're eating out more. I would just have cash ready when you get here. And then finally, when you get here, you need to make sure you've got money for accommodation, like permanent accommodation. So with that, you need to have your 1 month security deposit, 1 month's first paid rent, brokerage fee if you need it, even though it's illegal now in some states. All that takes quite a lot of money, so just factor that in. And another factor is getting a US mobile phone. So there's quite a few pay-as-you-go deals, but just factor in, as soon as you get here, you might have to, you probably won't be able to get a contract because you haven't got a credit rating, but you will probably be spending £100 on a SIM, like a pay-only, just to make calls back home. All that, I think for me, a single person with shipping and some temporary accommodation, mine came to about $5,000. So You can do the maths, you can do things, but just factor it in. Good luck.